How you doing, YouTube? This is your boy Brogi Naric back again with another video and a brand new episode of the Playhouse. And in these videos, in this series, I give my ideas and casting choices on various movies or video games or even TV shows. This is a fun series. I've been doing this for a while. People seem to really enjoy it. And my last video I did was me casting the Fantastic Four in the MCU. And I got a request to do the Green Lantern, talk about the Green Lantern, which I wasn't planning on doing, but since it was requested, I decided to get into it. So in this episode of the Playhouse, I'm going to be giving my casting choices for the upcoming Green Lantern series that will be on HBO Max. But before I get into my list, don't forget to like this video, share it, and also subscribe to the channel. So thanks. Now, the HBO series was announced a couple of months ago. It's being produced and I believe showrun by Greg Berlanti, who you may know from the Arrowverse, all the stuff on CW. He's one of the head guys behind that, and he was also one of the head producers on the Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds. So he's worked with Green Lantern before, and didn't work out, but hopefully this time in this day and age he can do a better job. So in this series, I believe is loosely supposed to be connected to whatever Warner Brothers is doing with the cinematic universe of the DC characters. So this show could, the way I'm thinking about this is the way I'm casting this is like the people that will be in this show could also be in a movie. Same with like what Disney is doing with the MCU and the Disney Plus shows. I'm feeling like this is what this is going to be like. So the people I'm casting for the Green Lantern Corps would also work within a movie. I'm not trying to do it like the CW where we have our version of the Flash here, and then we have our version of the Flash on the movie. It's like, no. They're all going to be in the same world. So keep that in mind. Now, another thing I wanted to say, I'm not the biggest Green Lantern fan. I really haven't read a Green Lantern comic book since Rebirth. And I mean the first Rebirth, the one that Jeff Johns did like in, 2005 or whatever, when Hal Jordan came back. That was probably the last Green Lantern comic I actually, or at least storyline that I actually read. I've kept up with it, passingly, but I'm not like a huge Green Lantern fan. But I do know that there's a lot of groundwork that has been done that can be used within, like, if they want to do a TV series. And I also am thinking of this more as I really like the idea of the cop procedural in space type of vibe, and I'm kind of going that route with it in terms of my casting. Somewhat like what they did with the animated movie Green Lantern First Flight, where it was literally just training day in space, which was a great way of handling that. So I'm kind of having that mentality in my mind when I'm going through these casting choices. So let me just get into it right now. Oh, also, another thing I forgot to mention, the Green Lantern Corps is a gigantic group of space cops, and they're different species of aliens throughout that group. I'm mainly focusing on the Earth-based Green Lanterns, the main ones. Those are the main ones I'm going to be casting when it comes to the Green Lantern Corps. So keep that in mind. I'm going to start with the Green Lantern Corps. And of course, I'm going to start with the main Green Lantern, who is Hal Jordan. And my casting choice for Hal Jordan is Jon Hamm. Now, Jon Hamm has been my casting choice for years. I know he's a little bit older, and I'm fine with that. I remember hearing rumors that they wanted, this was years ago, when they were thinking they were going to do an older Hal, and he would train John and Kyle. And this was one of the tougher casting choices, because I was trying to think of someone who's a little bit younger. And the perfect person, I think, would have been Chris Pine, but he's in the Wonder Woman movies as Steve Trevor, so he's been taken. And the more I looked and researched, it's like Jon Hamm could still do it, especially if you're going to do an older, more veteran type of Hal Jordan, which I can buy him as a guy who's like actually been a test pilot. Because usually when you look at pilots, they're older guys, like they're not, or astronauts, like they're not super young guys. They're older guys. So if you want to take a realistic look at it, it would work. And Jon Hamm is dope. He's been in a lot of things. Been a lot of bad things. He hasn't been in anything super big since Mad Men. So this would be, and it's another TV series. So I think he would be great for that because he's proven he can really handle stuff like that. So Jon Hamm is my choice for Hal Jordan. Next Next up is, I think, a lot of people's Green Lantern. Probably when they think Green Lantern, this is the person they think of. My favorite Green Lantern, John Stewart, technically the third Earth Green Lantern. And my choice for John Stewart is Trevante Rhodes. Now, you may remember Trevante Rhodes from movies like Moonlight. I think that was the movie he first got a lot of notice for, which I haven't seen. And he was also in Bird Box. He was Sandra Bullock's boyfriend in Bird Box, which I know a lot of people saw that. And he's a really good actor. Bird Box is like really the main movie I've seen him in, but I'm familiar with him. I've checked clips out of him, and there's a lot of different people that people fan cast. A lot of people fan cast Idris Elba. For me personally, I don't want an older John Stewart. I want someone who's middle aged, but not not super young, but not super old, but like right close up and coming. And he's a great actor. He's got a good size to him. He's got a cool look, and I think he could be a good leading man as well. And I don't know how they're going to play the series. Maybe one season will focus on one Green Lantern, next season will focus on another. But having him as a good secondary actor to play off of Hal Jordan, I think would be a good way to handle the series. Now, I know on the Arrowverse they've been teasing the whole John Diggle as Hal Jordan thing, which that's a different universe. But I don't think they would, but they could potentially bring in David Ramsey to come in as John Stewart. I would be fine with that as well, but as in this, I'm going with Trevante Rhodes to be my John Stewart. Next on the list is the fourth Earth Green Lantern, my second favorite Green Lantern. He was actually the Green Lantern when I was growing up, and that is Kyle Rayner. And my pick for Kyle Rayner is Tyler Posey, who you may know from MTV's Teen Wolf. That's the main thing I know him from. And I haven't really seen him act that much, but he's got the right look. He actually looks like I could buy him as Kyle Rayner. And he also has the Mexican background that Kyle Rayner has. If you don't know, Kyle Rayner is Latino, and so is Tyler Posey. He's a young actor as well. He's in his mid-20s, and Kyle is always depicted as the younger Green Lantern, who when he started, he was like the only Green Lantern because the others had been wiped out. And Kyle's he's a cool guy. He's also kind of goofy because he's an artist and he's very imaginative. And I think Tyler Posey could bring some youthful energy. He can be like the rookie cop who's now part of this precinct, trying to get his bearings, and team him up with maybe an older guy trying to help him out. It could be Hal, it could be another Green Lantern, it could be John or whoever. And I think he'd bring a good dynamic to the series. Next on the list is the second Earth Green Lantern, everyone's favorite, Guy Gardner. And I'm very proud of this casting choice. This was actually like the first casting choice that immediately came to my mind, and I think it's pretty good. My pick for Guy Gardner is Nick Nemeth, aka Dolph Ziggler. Now, if you're not familiar with WWE superstar Dolph Ziggler, he is practically Guy Gardner. Dolph Ziggler, he's been acting, he's capable, but I think with the character, you don't really need a super strong actor because Guy is mostly played for laughs, but I know they've done some stuff with him in the New 52 where he's got a little more depth to him with the whole Red Lantern thing. But Dolph Ziggler can play the cocky, annoying, douchebag asshole, loudmouth that Guy Gardner is. Like, that's essentially his character. And Dolph Ziggler can totally pull that off. I think this would be a good breakout role for him. And I think, and he can be funny when he wants to. And he's just got that smug look that I think someone who would play Guy Gardner would definitely need. And I think this is like a match made in heaven. So Dolph Ziggler is my choice for Guy Gardner. Next on the list is one of the newer Green Lanterns that was part of the New 52, and that is Jessica Cruz. I'm not hugely familiar with her, but I've read some of the comics with her, and my pick to play Jessica Cruz is Rosa Salazar. The main thing you may recognize her from is Alita Battle Angel, and she was the lead in Alita Battle Angel. She did very good in that. She's used to working with a lot of a lot of special effects and all of that. And apparently she was also in Bird Box. I didn't know that. Jessica Cruz is a newer Green Lantern. She brings in some diversity by being a woman, and she's a Hispanic character, and she's a weirder character because she's got one of those phobias. I think she's like afraid of going outside. She has some certain phobia that kind of holds her back, and she has the will to get past. I think she has the fear of like open spaces or being around other people. She likes to be isolated, but then Jessica Cruz also had the benefit of, well, the unbenefit of she had like an evil version of the Green Lantern ring, and then she eventually got a good version of the Green Lantern ring. So she's a complex character, a fairly new character, and I'm confident in Rosa Salazar's ability to bring that to the screen, and that's my pick. Simple as that. Next on the list is another new Green Lantern, which is Simon Baz, which technically I think that is the last Green Lantern comic I read, was the one that had him on the cover. And his costume was so unique at the time. I was like, I'll just buy this issue. That was the last one I bought. But my pick for Simon Baz, this was a tough one because it was a limited choice I could pick here. And I decided to go with Jade Hasanu. I think that's how you say it. Jade Hasanu to play Simon Baz. You may know him from the show Shadowhunters. Never seen it. But one of the reasons I picked him is because Simon Baz is a Muslim superhero, but he's also from a Lebanese background. And this actor, Jade Hansu, has a Lebanese/Canadian background. And he's a fairly young guy. He's 30 years old. And just based off of those criteria, that was the best I could come up with. So that's what I got for Simon Baz. But I think he could do some of the action stuff, seeing what he has done on Shadowhunters. So that's my pick for Simon Baz. And last of the Green Lanterns that I'm going to cast is one of the main trainers of the Green Lanterns, one of the usual big aliens that you see whenever you see Green Lanterns involved, and that is Kilowog, one of my favorite Green Lanterns. And my pick to play Kilowog is Christopher Maloney. Now, you may instantly recognize him as Detective Elliot Stabler from Law and Order SVU, and that was one of the reasons why I picked him, is because, like I said, I was going to go with that cop show vibe. I think he could totally fit the role of the tough guy, veteran, who's training the younger guys. And one of the things you may not know about Christopher Maloney is he's a funny guy. He's been in a lot of funny stuff. I immediately think of Harold and Kumar, and he had a show called, I think it was Happy. I haven't seen it, but I know it was weird. But he can play humor, and I would love to see, maybe I would prefer practical effects, but then again, the size of Kilowog, I'd be fine if they have the right budget. Because we don't know what the budget of the show is going to be, but I would prefer a mix of practical and CGI effects to make the aliens look the right sizes. But Christopher Maloney is my pick for Kilowog, Yapuza. Now to get into the casting choices of the villains. Some of the villains, not all the villains, but some of the villains for this series. And my first casting pick is going to be that of Sinestro, Green Lantern's, well, most of the Green Lantern's main #1 arch enemy. And this was a tough one. This was a very tough one because Mark Strong did such a good job in that original Green Lantern movie. And he was wasted, he was let down, and he's already back in this new DC universe as Sivana, so I can't recast him because he's already back in another character. It's going to be confusing. So my pick for Sinestro is Cillian Murphy. Now, you may recognize, usually when I think of Cillian Murphy, I automatically think of Scarecrow from Batman Begins, but you may also know him from the lead character on Peaky Blinders on Netflix. And he's a really good actor. He's a solid actor. And to me, he always has that snobbish, I'm better than you vibe to him, which fits perfectly with Sinestro, who's power hungry, and he's like a tyrant. He's really good at what he does. When he wants to be good, he can be good. But when he's vile and jealous and just power hungry, he's really ruthless. And I think Cillian Murphy can really pull that off. But he can also pull off the evil side. But he can also pull off, like, if you want to do the slow build to him being a good guy who's like corrupt, and then just going full evil. I think he can really pull that off too. So, and also strong enough actor for a TV show and a big movie series. So Cillian Murphy is my pick for Sinestro. Next up is one of Green Lantern's greatest arch enemies and greatest love interests, and that is that of Star Sapphire, aka Carol Ferris. And my pick to play her is Olivia Wilde. Could have went a number of different directions, but I decided to go with Olivia Wilde. You may know her from Tron Legacy and House. She's been in numerous things, and she tends to pop up in a lot of weird sci-fi stuff. And she's a solid actress. She has a good look, but I can also buy her as a woman who is in charge of running a aircraft business. She has the agency to pull that off, but then she also has the sex appeal aspect that you would need for this type of character. I mean, just look at how the costume is designed. But she also has good chemistry with John Hamm as well. And she can do the action sequences, she can do the dramatic sequences. She just checks all the markers for this character. And that's why she is my pick for the Star Sapphire. Next on the list is the leader of the Red Lantern Corps, and that is Atrocitus. And this was actually the last casting choice I came up with. This one was pretty tough, trying to find someone to play this rage-filled monster, but also trying to logistically think of, like, well, if we go down a practical effect route, would it work? And also in the CG effect route, would it work? That in mind, I think I found the perfect person to play him, and that is Ryan Hurst. Who you may recognize. Immediately I recognized him from Remember the Titans, and he's also been in Son of Anarchy, and currently he's on The Walking Dead. He plays the character Beta, who is this big murderous, killing machine. And once I didn't even know he was on The Walking Dead, but when I saw that, and I was like, okay, this will work. I could work with this. And he plays Atrocitus is this big rage monster filled with anger who's out for revenge on the Green Lantern Corps because the Green Lantern Guardians had done him wrong, and he leads his own group of other rage-filled monsters or angry people with their powers, and they spit out their weird napalm venom that I think infects people, and that's how he infects them with rage. And he's a really good actor. He's a solid actor. He's got size on him, and like I said, he can do the action as well. If you look at his work on Walking Dead, but he can also, like I said, he's a good actor too. He can play the silent, strong guy, but he can also act. He has a cool voice, and I think he can really bring a certain gravitas to this character. So he is my pick for Atrocitus. And the last enemy on my list to cast is that of Necron, the cosmic entity of death within the DC universe who caused huge trouble for the Green Lanterns during the Darkest Night storyline. And my pick to play Necron is the OG himself, Tony Todd. And no, this is not just an immediate reaction because the new Candyman movie is coming out. I was working on this before that was even announced, or at least I was working on it before that trailer even came out. That trailer just helps. But Tony Todd is great. I love Tony Todd. He has presence. He has the cool voice. He's got creepy vibe to him. And if you're going to play a big entity that play the big entity that Necron is within the DC universe, but instead of him just being blah, boogie booger, you can actually add some gravitas to him. Tony Todd can do that. He can be the scary, tough guy voice. And I think he might get it because I just realized I forgot about it before I even, when I was making this list, but it just popped in my head. He was the voice of Zoom on Flash Season 2. So he's already got a good connection with Greg Berlanti. So this one could actually happen. So I feel even more vindicated by putting him on this list. I totally forgot that he was the voice of Zoom in Flash Season 2. So yeah, Tony Todd is my pick to play Necron. Hopefully this series will be good enough that we can get or build to the Darkest Night storyline, one of those big storylines within the Green Lantern mythos from the past decade. So yeah, it would be dope to see this series. I don't know how the series is going to be. I'm hoping it's going to be good. It would reason to get the HBO Max app. Hopefully, if this is good, it could bring back the Green Lantern cartoon, which I never saw, but I know a lot of people really enjoyed that. But I think it would be nice that the Green Lantern finally gets his due, because he was like at the peak moment. He could have been a big star, like how Iron Man was doing a lot of crazy stuff in the comics, and then the movie came out and he just skyrocketed to like mega star comic book character. Like suddenly everybody is an Iron Man fan. Green Lantern was also kind of on that same trajectory, but then the movie came out and it just really stopped his popularity in terms of the mainstream. Like, but in the comics he was still popular. He was one of the most popular characters of the past decade in the DC universe. But like that movie just didn't kick him enough to mainstream. So hopefully, if Greg Berlanti can like work his magic, but do it a little bit better, like not as formulaic as what the CW is, but still hit home with the fan base. Because the CW, people talk shit about the CW, but the CW is really good. It has a strong fan base, and they tend to do a little bit better than what the movies itself has been doing. So if he can, this is the second time doing Green Lantern, but if he can quite strike it right, I think this would be a big moment within not just Green Lantern, but like the DC universe itself, where they can just start finally getting things going on the right track. And those are my casting choices for the Green Lantern series on HBO Max. If you like this video, give this video a like. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and share this video. And if you have any suggestions for further ideas or series I could cast, let's leave them in the comments and I'll listen to them. Like I said, this was just based off of a suggestion. I wasn't even planning on doing this video, but you know, here it is. And I got a couple other ones coming down the line, but I can always use more content, especially with this whole COVID-19 crap going on and a lot of movies not coming out. I can use the time to make more content. So let me know in the comments if you want to see other videos like this. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.